who's actually going to love a set of outdoor speakers, and who might be better off putting their money into a portable Bluetooth amp instead? If you're standing on a patio wondering whether the Bowers and Wilkins AM1 pair will finally give you that cinema-like ambience without looking like a metal wall, or if you're a renter who can't commit to wiring and want something you can plug in and go, those are the questions I tried to answer before I hit record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The biggest hesitation I hear from people in this niche is the fear of paying a premium for a speaker that looks great on the wall but turns to mush the first time a summer storm rolls through. I spent a few evenings in my own backyard, playing a mix of jazz, podcasts, and the occasional backyard barbecue soundtrack, to see how the AM1s behave when the temperature swings from a chilly dawn to a scorching noon. What I found was a speaker that really leans into its architectural label. It blends into the wall. The grille is a sleek piece of aluminum that doesn't rust after a few weeks of mist from the pool, and the sound stays clear enough that you can still hear a friend's voice across the garden without cranking the volume. First, let's talk about the kind of setup you're likely to have. The AM1 is a wired model, which means you'll need to run speaker cable from your amplifier or receiver to the wall bracket. The package includes a cast aluminum bracket and a single plug mount that snaps the speaker onto the wall in seconds. For anyone who already has an outdoor entertainment zone, think a fixed wall or a pergola with a hidden amp. That one-plug approach saves a lot of fiddling with mounting hardware. If you're used to standing on a ladder, attaching a bracket, then tightening bolts, you'll notice the difference immediately. On the other hand, if you're a first-time installer with no experience running cable, the fact that it's wired could feel like an extra hurdle compared with the plug-and-play convenience of a Bluetooth speaker. Now, who should actually consider buying these? If you're a homeowner who spends a good chunk of the summer evenings outside, love a little higher fidelity background music, and already have a receiver or a small amp tucked in a weatherproof cabinet, the AM1 makes sense. The 1-inch Nautilus tube-loaded aluminum dome is the piece that gives the speaker a smoother, more extended high-frequency response than you'd get from a typical outdoor dome. In practice, that translates to a cleaner acoustic guitar tone in a folk playlist and less harshness when the treble spikes during a pop track. The rust-proof grille and rigid cabinet mean the speakers can sit just a few inches from a pool edge without worrying about chlorine or occasional splashes. If, however, you're a renter, or you only host occasional gatherings and don't want to commit to running permanent wiring, the AM1 might feel like overkill. The cost is positioned in the higher tier of outdoor speakers, and the benefit you get, a more refined soundstage and a discreet, permanent installation, is only fully realized when the speakers stay put for years. There's also the issue of power. Because these are passive speakers, you need an external amp that can deliver enough wattage to fill a large yard. If you already own a decent amp, great. If you don't, you're looking at an additional purchase that can push the total project cost well beyond the price tag on the speakers themselves. Practical strengths become clear when you test them with real-world scenarios. I tried them during a weekend barbecue, playing a mix of upbeat playlists at about 70 dB. Even with a small portable subwoofer tucked under the table, the AM1s managed to cut through ambient chatter and the clinking of plates without sounding tinny. The aluminum dome gave a decent sense of space. You could tell where a violin was placed in the stereo image, something you rarely notice with most outdoor speakers. The grille's design also resisted wind-blown debris. After a gusty evening, I brushed off a few leaves and the surface was unchanged. The weaknesses are subtler but worth mentioning. Because the speakers are designed to be mounted, you lose a bit of flexibility. If you later decide you want to relocate them to a different wall or a freestanding post, you'll have to re-drill holes and possibly rerun cable. The sound, while clear, does not have the booming bass that a larger outdoor cabinet would provide. In a big backyard where you're trying to fill an open space, you'll likely need a dedicated subwoofer or a pair of larger speakers to get that low-frequency thump that makes a pool party feel like a concert. Also, the weatherproof claim holds up under rain and UV exposure, but the speakers are still rated for outdoor use, not submersion. If you have a pool with a splash zone that regularly drenches the wall, you'll want to make sure the speaker face stays at least a few inches above water level. Value.